For my final week of high volume training, I headed out on Highway 16 again for 3 days and nights in the mountains. I tented 2 nights at Columbia Icefields and one in Jasper. The goal was to put in 21 hours and 4,500 meters elevation on the trail. This was my fourth and final week of higher volume. After this, I'll have a 2 week taper leading up to the Divide 200 on September 12th. The intent of this training is to normalize longer times on my feet carrying a 12-pound pack filled with survival essentials and food, and to practice fueling, hydration, and equipment. This trip I trialed the tracking map share feature on my Garmin InReach, testing it out by having Steve Knowles follow my route and sending messages via satellite communication. Last year at the Divide there was often no cell coverage and my support crew had little idea where I was on the trail. Tenting at the Columbia Icefields, I started off to Nigel Pass. Well, starting Nigel Pass, plan to do a bit of Brazou Loop. It's August 22nd and it's about 0 or around -1 according to the car, so a bit of a cold start, and it looks like it's gonna be a pretty amazing day. Definitely cold up here. You got some frost on the bushes. Sun's coming up. This Nigel Pass Brazou Loop out and back took about 8.5 hours, and I covered 45 kilometers and 1,400 meters of elevation. The next day I did Big Bend Peak. This trail starts at the big hairpin bend in the Icefields Parkway at the North Saskatchewan River Bridge. I should have read the description before heading out. It said, "This route is a scramble and should only be attempted by very experienced hikers." This was a mountain climb on a route with no markers or trail that started with an extremely steep shale ascent that had me questioning what I was doing. The sun came up fast. Now we're gonna kick into the trees, and I suspect a lot of up. Well, I don't know what I've got. My map says that I go up here and then along the ridge, but there's no trail. And then there's this trail that goes down to the valley over those glaciers. So maybe I guess I'll change tactics and follow the trail. But I can't understand why that map shows up there. That's all scrambling, and then is there even a trail up top? I can see that you would follow the ridge, but anyway. Well, feeling disoriented because I don't have a map. Actually, my watch works better than Trail Forks. It does show a line for this course. I imagine it goes to that glacier over there. Still, I don't like being in a situation where I don't have a map. And the one for the peak that I have goes way the hell off into the mountains. No discernible trail. As I was unsure of the map, I decided to follow the valley. I went out a couple kilometers and turned around. Interesting rock. I got back on the map trail and started up the steep shale slope. Steep and slippy. Bit of a trail, pretty sketchy. One little slip and that's it. Well, had enough of this shaly, slippy peak. I think I'm gonna call this one. It's been I started heading down and towards a better view for the glacier. I had 2 more runs planned that day, so I left the 200 or 300 meters to the peak for another time. Well, that was an adventure. Big bend, really steep climbing. It's not a trail, it's more of a route. No flagging or anything. Trail kept disappearing. Steep as hell. Didn't make the peak, but That scaly mountain was no fun. Way better to go take a look at the ice fields there. Anyway, my first run of the day, 2 more to go. About 5 kilometers up the road, I went to Parker Ridge. Although this trail is extremely popular and the parking lot was full, it rewards you with an amazing view of the Saskatchewan Glacier Valley that shouldn't be missed. An hour later, and my third hike of the day, I went up Wilcox Pass, which gives a great view of the Columbia Icefields. Heading up Wilcox Pass, I guess it is, or ridge. On Sunday, I left Jasper and headed back east to Yellowhead Lake and the Mount FitzWilliam Trail. This is mostly forested trail for about 12 kilometers that leads to the mountain. Bouldering and scrambling up to the ridge leading to the summit, I discovered a beautiful alpine meadow and stream. The meadow and views over the valley were really quite amazing. Nice cool start to the day. I think it's about 7 degrees. Register. All right. Running a new pair of shoes today. They're the Saucony Paragon 15 Gore-Tex. I had bought a pair this spring of the 14s. And they're already miled out, starting to bust out at the seams. So, got 800 kilometers out of them. 6.5 kilometers in, we got some tent sites. Sure, but I suspect that might be Mount FitzWilliam. Well, I suspect gotta go up that ravine to the ridge and then follow along the ridge to the peak. Well, looking at it, there's where I came up, and then if I had gone up that really steep part and then Made my way up that crag there. Looks like there's a trail that goes up the side. Well, that shortcut route I thought a person could take, that looks like sheer wall there. I don't think that would be a good idea. Nice little stream. Oh, there's a marmot. He's coming to check me out. There you go. After 3 days and nights, I completed 24 hours and 119 kilometers on the trail with 4,400 meters of elevation. Much of the terrain proved to be quite technical, which made for a slower pace. I discovered some new places and met people from all over Canada and the world. My training journey began in January, and I'm grateful for my good luck in arriving at this point injury-free. I'm feeling good, stronger, and more prepared than I was last year. I've always wanted to spend time in the Robson Valley area exploring the many trails it has to offer. This year, I got to spend about 12 days running the mountains and trails in the area. I love it when a plan comes together.